And it was 0 to 100 in 0 seconds. You would have no warning. I understand why they call it a flash flood now.
Breaking news. There's a dust storm coming in your way.
Started thundering and lightning, and then within a few minutes we heard this loud boom.
Holy. There was so much pressure up against the front door that I couldn't even open the front door.
It's beautiful but dangerous. Arizona's monsoon can catch us all by surprise.
Pounding rain, explosive lightning, and don't forget those rolling dust storms. Our annual monsoon can really pack a punch.
Thank you for joining us for our 12 News 2021 Monsoon Special.
We're here to make sure you don't get caught off guard by Mother Nature. Monsoon 2021 officially begins on June 15th.
But those triple-digit temps are already here.
After 2 back-to-back monsoons and a record scorching summer, what should we expect this time around? Fingers crossed, it could be better than last year. Since 1895, the overall temperature trend during monsoon is upwards, with 2020 coming up as the record hottest, not just for Phoenix, but for all of the Southwest. Monsoon 2020 may have just been the perfect storm of bad luck when it came to a lackluster showing. So let's rewind. 3 factors really played into our non-soon last summer. High pressure in the atmosphere didn't set up in the right spot, and it was too strong, preventing storms from forming. There wasn't enough moisture in the air, and so much smoke got pumped into our sky from the devastating wildfires across the West. So what about 2021? Well, it's looking like the stars will align and we might actually get some rain. The latest climate prediction models point to the potential for above average rainfall in Arizona this upcoming monsoon due to reduced snowpack across the West. That'll promote faster warming to the north, which is what we want to happen for our monsoon pattern to get its act together. And does this mean we can expect another summer of record heat? It'd be a feat to pull off the kinds of records we reached last year, but climatologists say we will likely be above average again, and that trend probably won't go away.
Thank you, Crystal. We are coming off of a couple dry years with a lot of fire activity.
Wildfire season and monsoon are a dangerous combination for us here in Arizona. When those two collide, we have a greater risk for flash flooding, and here's why. Wildfire season and monsoon are nearly synonymous in Arizona, and the combination of the two leads to greater flash flooding potential, according to the National Weather Service.
Wildfires change the characteristics of the ground and soil. So typically when rain falls, some of that water is absorbed by the ground and the rest runs off. In the burn scar areas, the soil is much harder and is similar to pavement where it doesn't absorb any water at all.
The water then immediately runs off. A lot of water in a short period of time, you could experience flash flooding.
There are also concerns with debris flows, which contain part of the burned soil, as well as sand and vegetation that can pose serious concerns to areas and structures impacted by flash flooding.
People living near burn areas need to always be on the lookout and pay attention to the local forecast.
The number one thing I would recommend is to be aware of any flash flood watches and warnings that are issued throughout the monsoon.
And even when monsoon ends later this year, that doesn't mean the threat of flash flooding is over.
In general, the first 1 to 2 years are when burn scars are most vulnerable to flash flooding and the potential for landslides. In more intense fires, it could take 3 to 4 years for the burned area to recover enough to significantly reduce the flash flooding threat.
While there isn't any way around wildfire season or monsoon, we can prepare and react for the dangers they bring to Arizona. Be sure to download the 12 News app for your hyper-local forecasts and any weather alerts so you're always in the know.
Thank you, Jamie. Many of our wildfires are sparked by lightning. Gorgeous to look at, but dangerous to deal with. The monsoon always serves up tons of lightning bolts. An average year in Arizona may produce 600,000 lightning bolts. Lightning forms when a negatively charged electron zigzags downward from the cloud base toward the ground. As the electron nears the ground, it pulls the positive charge toward it. Remember, opposites attract. As these charges merge, it creates a powerful electrical current. The return stroke is what we see, which moves at 60,000 miles per second. There are many types of lightning strikes, but the most dangerous for people are the cloud-to-ground strikes, and these are common. Lori Bailey captured this amazing photo of a cloud-to-ground strike near Rio Rico during Monsoon 2019. On one side of the picture, it looks like the sun is trying to come out, but the other side shows a mature thunderstorm with heavy rain.
Oh my God, the tree is coming down! Oh my God! Holy... The power of Mother Nature on full display.
Trees knocked down, crashing through roofs, smashing cars, even taking down power lines.
Strong monsoon winds can leave behind a lot of destruction,
Especially when it comes to trees that haven't been well maintained. So be sure to trim your trees. Take a look. Trees are great during the summer, shading our homes, adding to curb appeal, but when monsoon storms roll in, watch out.
Freight train coming by.
Oh my God, the tree is coming down!
The strong winds can wreak havoc on trees, and depending which way they fall, it could be damaging, even life-threatening. But there are things you can do now that could keep your tree from being part of the problem.
This area here should never get cut. It should be right near this
Sal
line.
Broccoli with Moon Valley Nurseries recommends having a trusted professional prune your trees before Arizona's monsoon kicks into high gear, like thinning out the crown.
It allows the wind to pass through them. We're looking to take crossing branches that are kind of unnecessary, maybe damaged or diseased.
Keep an eye out for pests.
Things like ants crawling up the trunk of the tree. That's a sign that there's something wrong with the tree.
You can help keep your tree's roots strong by the way you water them.
Deep soaks, deep periods of water, and watering out towards the edge and the canopy of that tree is...
So are there certain trees that do better in the monsoon than others?
It's more on the side of the myth.
Ray Limecooler is a horticulturist with the Desert Botanical Garden. He says certain elements in the Sonoran Desert can weaken the trees, like the heat.
Which trees can get a sunburn?
This one, the Palo Verde, they're actually really prone to getting the sunburn. If they're pruned too much in the spring, by the time the summer arrives with that intensity and that sunlight, it can burn and kill the tissue of the tree.
A tree that bears fruit can weaken its branches with too much weight.
You may suggest even removing some of those bean pods because it adds weight, which can hurt the tree if a windstorm were to come.
To take off those bean pods, to take off that added weight in order to kind of promote the long-term health of that particular branch.
No one can predict what Mother Nature will unleash, but preparing your trees for the storms can make a big difference.
No doubt about it, the monsoon creates some powerful storms and some powerful images. We want to thank our 12 News weather watchers for always sending in great pictures of our weather. Here's a look at some of those storms caught on camera. Check out this great picture from the high country. Paul Folk captured the dark skies and a lightning strike during a summer thunderstorm hitting the White Mountains of eastern Arizona last year. What a great picture. Heber Lopez shares the beauty of Sedona with the 12 News weather watchers all year long. Here he snapped the threatening skies and lightning strikes over the Red Rocks. Check out this amazing picture Nicole sent us. As we get into our hot, dry spring and summer months here in Arizona, those high country thunderstorms, they make a lot of wind. And when those winds hit the lower deserts, they kick up a lot of dust. And we find ourselves with clouds of dust like this moving across the horizon.
And no matter where you live, the best place to track any possible monsoon storms is in the 12 News app. If you don't have it yet, just open the camera on your phone, then point it at the screen right now. It will read this QR code and give you an instant link to download the 12 News app.
Plus, what exactly is a microburst, and why is it so powerful?
Arizona is known for towering dust storms. They look scary and they are dangerous. Coming up, what you need to know before the dust rolls in.
You're watching the 12 News 2021 Monsoon Special.
Monsoon 2021 is sponsored by the Flood Control District of Maricopa County. Share your pics or video with the 12 News app today.
Welcome back to the 12 News 2021 Monsoon Special.
Right now, we want to give you a heads up about those brown walls of blowing dirt.
Arizona is well known for its towering dust storms. Not only do they look scary, they can create quite a hazard. They're big, menacing, and can bring the valley to a stop. And one of the more dangerous places to be during a dust storm is on the road. ADOT has unveiled a new dust detection system to help keep you safe on the road.
There's a lot of technology in this dust detection and warning system. We have a weather radar, visibility detectors, variable speed limit signs, speed feedback signs, overhead message boards, a closed-circuit camera system. All of these things are integrated into a system that automatically detects dust and warns drivers about reduced visibility.
This first-of-its-kind system is located between Eloy and Picacho Peak along I-10, a stretch of interstate notorious for blowing dust and dust storms.
There are really two things for drivers to watch for. The first are the overhead message boards, which we're all used to because they're all across Arizona. The second are those variable speed limit signs, which are clustered into this roughly 10-mile area. Drivers will see a series of those variable speed limit signs as they approach the area about every 1,000 feet. Once they get past the initial signs, there are more variable speed limit signs every 2 miles.
It is important for drivers to know that when the speed limit is reduced, it is an enforceable speed limit and you could get a ticket. But the best advice when it comes to our dust storms?
It's important for drivers to know that the technology does not replace common sense. The best thing drivers can do is not drive in a dust storm. If you see that wall of dust approaching, take the next exit and wait out the storm.
So how did those towering walls of dust even form? Here's what it takes for one to come rolling into town. Dust storms form from dying thunderstorms. When a thunderstorm dies, it releases a big downdraft of air that lofts dust up to 5,000 feet in the air. Winds can gust up to 60 miles per hour within these walls of dust, and visibility can drop to zero very quickly. If a dust storm warning is issued, it means that that wall of dust is moving toward you. Dust storms don't just cause issues for drivers, they can generate mechanical issues in aircraft and even cause breathing issues in people.
We love seeing our storms through the eyes of our viewers, and we want to give a big shout out to our 12 News weather watchers for always sending in such great photos of our weather. Here's a look at some of my monsoon favorites. But really, how do you pick a favorite when they're all fantastic? I have to show off Lori Grace Bailey's August 2nd, 2018 masterpiece. It looks like the lightning is shooting straight out of this double rainbow. And because I'm a sucker for rainbows, how about this one set against the backdrop of Sedona's Red Rocks? Becky Wenger captured this beauty on July 3rd of 2020. And nothing beats a window seat during monsoon. Tyler Herrick gave us an incredible view of the massive dust storm that raced through the valley on August 22nd of 2016. Way to go, weather watchers! Coming up, there's a special place in Arizona where there's always a 100% chance for rain every day during monsoon. We're checking it out.
Share your pics or video with the 12 News app today.
Welcome back to the 2021 Monsoon Special. There's a unique place in Arizona where there's always a 100% chance for rain every day during monsoon. I'll take you to Oracle now, the home of Biosphere 2. Grab your raincoat and your umbrella, because during monsoon, we can go from sunshine to storms in a snap. And even when Mother Nature doesn't put on a show, Biosphere 2 can make it happen.
Turning on the rain in the southeast quadrant.
10-4, thank you.
Oh, it's starting to rain. Quick, John, get under my umbrella here. Please tell us about this biome.
We have about 60 different species in here. If you were to take a drive from southern Arizona and work your way down into Mexico, you would encounter a lot of the vegetation that you see right here inside this biome. As there becomes greater variability in our monsoons, there are questions as to how these vegetation communities are going to change, and how does the changing vegetation communities in turn impact not only the ecosystem but also the atmosphere, because we know that plants transpire. So if there's less plants, that means they're going to transpire less. That means potentially there's less moisture in the atmosphere, which could impact the weather cycle. So Biosphere 2 is like a time machine for scientists. We can create conditions just like those that we predict are going to happen to give us some insight into how these systems may respond in the future.
How's that?
Good. Aaron, where are we now in Biosphere 2?
This is called the Landscape Evolution Observatory. This is the largest earth science experiment in the world. We've built these large, identical hill slopes. Water comes out of our sprinkler head systems that we've calibrated to be very rain-like. When monsoons happen in the summertime, we get these rapid, high-volume rain events, but it's so hot that water evaporates very fast. And we're moving up to one of our masts here, and that's actually monitoring those evaporation rates. Something as little as 2% water is stored from rain events in the desert, whereas we're closer to about 30 or 40% up in the mountains. There are stark differences in the storage of water based on elevation, based on what trees and plants are present. This is kind of a blank canvas for us to further investigate those types of differences that really inform our water storage and supply for years to come.
Coming up, we're looking into the deadly force of a microburst. You're watching the 12 News 2021 Monsoon Special. When it comes to the monsoon, everything can change in a blink of an eye, especially when a microburst hits.
This type of storm can be devastating. Here's a closer look at a microburst. Within any thunderstorm, there is an updraft and a downdraft. This is essentially the breath of the storm. Many times an updraft will suspend water droplets and hailstones in the air. When evaporational cooling occurs, the air becomes more dense and the core of the storm can come crashing down to the ground. When a downdraft is small and localized, the sinking air can topple trees, collapse roofs, and anything in its path. Winds can reach 150 miles per hour within a microburst. The width of a microburst is no more than 2.5 miles. This weather phenomena can also be hazardous for airplanes in the air. Here is an example of a microburst near the Sedona Airport during monsoon 2018. You can see what looks like a black ball descending down to the ground from the clouds. That is the core of the storm collapsing once the updraft could no longer suspend water droplets. The damage occurs when that collapsing column of air hits the ground and rapidly spreads out in all directions. Thank you for joining us for this 12 News 2021 Monsoon Special.
As you've seen, Arizona's monsoon is a stunning but deadly force. Our goal is to keep you and your family safe from any wild weather that may pop up.